guys, Mayflom here, and I've got some molding paste. I really like the Ranger texture paste. That's actually become my favorite for this kind of stenciling. However, I'm all out, but guess what? I have a different brand, and guess what? Pretty much any of the texture type pastes, molding paste, modeling paste, whatever they're calling it, pretty much any of them will work really well for this kind of a project. The only thing that I really don't recommend is I really don't recommend heavy weight, only because when I'm doing this kind of a project, if it's got, and that might have smudged. No, not too bad. I totally just flicked the stencil. That's never good. Anyhow, the only thing you can run into on this kind of stuff is if it's too heavy of a paste, sometimes it kind of has like a drag, like it pulls. And you don't want that. I'm hitting this with a heat tool. I normally don't, but it's a little cold in here in the studio this morning and I want to add more. And what I find is if I just hit it with the dry tool just for a minute or two and then set my stencil down in here like so, I can continue coloring in, well, not coloring, I suppose, since it's paste, but filling in, let's say filling in my stencil. Now notice if I keep it really thick like this, that's going to be a thicker image. If I scrape it way down, that's going to be a much thinner image. So you've got a lot of customization that you can do. There's a lot you can play with. And I'm also just trying to kind of be careful that I don't overlap. I don't want to push down too hard on any of the other images. And I love this flame, so I'm going to try to get some of that in here in the corner. It does not take very much paste at all. And you absolutely can just do like what I'm doing here, which is to just keep adding until you are happy with what you got. And then once done, guys, you're going to want to really clean this off well. You're going to want to get all that paste off. Don't go put it in the bathroom sink. Actually, what I would recommend is, you see how I'm working on a paper towel? Well, paper towel is a friend of mine for many reasons. You squirt this down with some water and then flip it over and you should be able to rub any and all paste off of there. It's not that I am a neat freak. Ha! If you watch my videos, you know I'm not. But the thing with this is if you leave the paste on there, and guys, I've done this before. Let's say I'm filming a video and paste to step 1 and I keep moving and I get distracted. Well, guess what? If you leave the paste on the stencil, it dries on the stencil, and it's okay once or twice, probably, but 2 things happen. Number 1, it gets a texture. And here, let me show you a victim. This particular stencil is a victim of my abuse. So I left a bunch of paste, actual sparkle paste on here. So now this side cannot go down on a project because it is so lumpy in certain places that if you put this down, it's lifted because there's so much over here and then it's not over here. It's a huge problem. So you have to treat your stencils nicely. I could sit here and attempt to pick off and scrape off every little bit. It would take me hours. Not worth it. Because this is a basic circle, I still use it, it's fine. But you want to be very careful of that. You know, on the flip side, let's say it's paint that's on there. Paint is not going to really be a problem if it's just like a very thin little coating. I always still do the thing where I just, you know, when I'm done, wipe it down. But if there's paint sticking, there's paint sticking. It's not going to be a big problem. Back to our project at hand, we're going to need to let this fully dry, then we can color it up. Once you are all dried off, you can play. Use any color medium you want, guys. There's not a rule here. Use absolutely anything you feel like. Me, I'm in a Distress Crayon mood. So the Tim Holtz Distress Crayons are lots and lots of fun. And I'm playing with the one set palette, this one particular set here. It's all very bright. It's so much fun. I can't even, you guys. I love these so much. So what I like to do though is what I'm doing right here. I'm putting them on the paste directly. Not being fancy, not being tricky. Just slapping them on the paste here, there, and everywhere. Now I have options. First, I'm going to take some water and spray everything down. Then I'm going to take a water brush and I'm going to play the blending game. Now, I don't exactly know how this is going to go, guys, because I haven't done it exactly like I've done a couple of things, but with more paste. Okay, so I'm going to stick to the blues and the greens first and get some blendy fun going. Okay, I'm going to get to those areas first. Then I'm going to rinse this out off to the side. Just rinse it out. You don't actually need a water brush. Actually, I think a regular paintbrush might even work better. Just because I want a different kind of tip. Then I'm going to I'll work the oranges here. Work the oranges over here. So you might notice the color blends really nicely. The color's going to blend really nicely, although if I get too many colors going, it's going to get muddy. So just be careful of that. But the colors are going to play nice and they're going to blend because I put it on the paste. I didn't put it on the cardstock. And even the cardstock I used is manila. It's a manila card, which means it's going to pretty much play nice anyway. It's a little tougher than, say, standard cardstock. It can take a lot more abuse. Now, I'm just color playing here. And when I'm done, I've got options. I love options. But I am going to blot it off because I want you to look at that. How blotting it off, the color is going to stay somewhat and in some areas, but it's going to get more muted in others. And I'm just going to come back in here and continue to blend and play until I'm happy with my results. They're pretty forgiving when you work in this kind of a way. Oh, this is just so much fun because this is getting me a combination here. I've got a combination going of texture and color. And if I need more water, I add more water. And if I don't want as much water, I can dab it off. It's not a problem. See? Like if it gets muddy or anything, I just pop some color off. And I can really create some really fun effects here. Once I am all the way happy with everybody and everybody's playing nice and I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm really liking how this looks now, then I'm done. Or I move on and maybe I get some sentiments going. Maybe I add some embellishments. There's not really a right or wrong answer here, guys. This is about creative play. It's about having a good time, liking what you're doing, testing out those products. We all have them, but not just doing, not just doing what's expected, but maybe try something a little different. Like I've done this, the cardstock I've done this on before was coated in gesso, and that would actually make a big difference. If you coated this in gesso first, it would react differently. It would look different. And what I'm liking about this though is look how it's got kind of like a, I don't know how to explain that look exactly, but it's got an interesting, I'm really interested in the look of the blended colors when I'm using a more dry brush. I thought I wanted more water here. I thought I wanted more of a fluid color, but I'm liking the effect when there's just barely enough water to get things blended. I'm liking that look a whole lot better, which I find interesting. I'm always trying to test new ideas out and see what I end up liking or disliking, because in my mind, it does matter, and it is important to know what you like, but it's also important to know what you don't like and what doesn't work. And of course, why? Why isn't it working? Why don't you like it? What's wrong? What's going on there? All right, guys, I'm done playing for now, but that sure was a whole lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed playing along with me. As always, if you've got any questions, you feel free to leave me a comment over on YouTube. I'll see you next time.